The most peculiar delusion of the modern age is the conviction that speed is synonymous with life. We are perpetually accelerating. We demand instant communication, instant travel, instant gratification. We confuse frantic motion with genuine living. The entire civilized world is caught in a psychological vortex where the faster you move, the more anxiously you feel you are falling behind. This is the speed trap. And its cruel irony is this: the effort to save time is precisely the thing that consumes your life. We are all striving to get to some future point, believing that once we have achieved a certain velocity, finished the to-do list, completed the project, reached the promotion, we will finally be free to rest and enjoy the moment. But the moment we reach that point, a new series of tasks, a new list of obligations, and a new expectation of acceleration immediately replaces the old. You are forever running towards a horizon that recedes at the exact pace you approach it. The illusion is that time is a finite substance that can be saved. We treat life as a race against the clock, constantly trying to optimize, minimize, and compress our experiences. But time, philosophically, is not a commodity. It is merely the measure of our attention. When you rush through a moment, when you eat your meal while reading emails, or talk to a loved one while planning your next meeting, you are not saving time. You are simply not being there. You are sacrificing the rich, textured reality of the present for a phantom future. And what happens when you are not there? Your life becomes thin. It loses substance. It turns into a blur of transitions between tasks, none of which are fully appreciated or experienced. The mind, desperate to keep up with the perceived external speed, breaks the continuity of the moment. You stop seeing the world as a seamless flow and start seeing it as a series of obstacles to be rapidly overcome. The wisdom of spontaneity is entirely lost in the speed trap. Spontaneity, the effortless, perfect action of the moment, requires pace. It requires the organism to operate at its natural, unforced rhythm. But the modern mind overrides this organic rhythm with the anxious, arbitrary beat of the clock. We are constantly forcing our rhythm to match the machine's rhythm, and the result is chronic internal friction. We must understand that action is only meaningful when it is full action. If you are doing one thing while your mind is entirely invested in the next thing, you are not truly doing the first thing at all. You are existing in a state of partial presence, which is the psychological definition of anxiety. Anxiety is the energy of the now being desperately pulled into the future. When your attention is split between what you are doing and what you should be doing next, you are not living a full life. You are living a divided one. The ego loves speed because speed implies control and importance. If you are constantly busy, constantly rushing, constantly productive, the ego believes this validates your existence. It creates the illusion that you are essential, that the system requires your frantic motion. But the cosmos does not rush. The seasons turn perfectly, the flowers bloom, and the planets move with an unforced, majestic pace. The attempt to live faster than the cosmos is a deep, hilarious, and ultimately self-defeating absurdity. The great liberation, therefore, is found in the simple, radical act of slowing down. This is not an instruction to cease movement, but an instruction to cease hurrying. The difference is profound. When you cease hurrying, you bring your full, undivided attention to the action you are currently engaged in. If you are washing a dish, you are simply washing the dish. If you are walking, you are simply walking. The action becomes complete in itself. In this state of unhurried action, you discover that you are not, in fact, falling behind. You realize that there is no external pace you must match. The only time that is real is the time you are presently taking. When you are fully present, you are perfectly aligned with the pace of existence itself. The paradox is that by trying to accelerate your life, you actually diminish the amount of life you experience. You trade the rich, deep quality of being for the thin, frantic quantity of doing. The solution to the feeling of being perpetually behind is not to speed up. It is to realize that the race itself is a delusion. You are not competing with anyone, and there is no finish line to cross. You are simply the unfolding of the moment, and the moment, when fully inhabited, is always sufficient. The fear of slowing down is the fear of confronting the emptiness beneath the constant activity. If you stop rushing, the ego worries, what will be left? Perhaps the painful, unacknowledged questions, the deep anxieties you have been successfully outrunning. But the emptiness is not a void, it is the creative ground of your being. It is the silence that allows the spontaneous music of life to be heard. So, let us drop the delusion of the clock. Let us surrender the anxious belief that we can save time. Time, when truly lived, is an endless unfolding, a continuous miracle. The only way to win the speed trap is to realize you were never actually in the race. You were simply standing still, watching the illusion of speed pass by. And the time to wake up to this is always now. The modern ego has invented a brilliant new mechanism for self-deception, which we call multitasking. It is the profound delusion that we can truly do several things simultaneously, thereby multiplying the utility of our time. But psychologically, multitasking is a fraud. You are not multiplying your action, you are merely dividing your attention. And divided attention is the psychological definition of a life that is unlived. When you multitask, you are always partially elsewhere. You are perpetually hovering between tasks, never fully committed to the object of your immediate experience. The meal you are eating is merely fuel for the task you are planning. The conversation you are having is merely background noise for the email you are composing. The world, in this state, loses its depth, its texture, its very reality. It becomes flat, functional, and ultimately meaningless. This is the tyranny of the partial presence. The tragedy is that the richness of life is found entirely in the unity of attention. The profound connection to another human being, the startling beauty of a simple flower, the complex joy of a meal, these things require your undivided presence. They require you to be completely here. But the ego, addicted to speed and efficiency, will not allow it. It fears the vulnerability and the sheer unstructured reality of being completely present. The ego insists that divided attention is a necessary survival skill in the accelerated world. But what exactly are you surviving for? You are surviving to perpetuate the very mechanism that prevents you from living. You are trading the substance of your life for the illusion of control over its quantity. The solution is not to try to multitask better. The solution is to realize that the fundamental reality of the organism is unitive. The nervous system, when operating optimally, focuses its entire energy on the single action demanded by the moment. The archer does not shoot 3 arrows at once. He focuses his entire being on one arrow, one target, one perfect release. That is efficiency, the spontaneous focusing of all energy on the now. Therefore, the discipline of slowness is the ultimate antidote to the speed trap. To slow down is not a physical act, though it may look like it. It is a metaphysical decision to fully inhabit the duration of the now. When you decide to slow down, you are declaring to the cosmos, I am entirely sufficient in this moment. I require no future outcome to justify this action. This is the end. And when an action is the end in itself, when the goal of washing the dish is not the clean dish, but the profound act of washing, the action gains a completeness that frees you from the clock. This commitment to slowness allows you to rediscover the sacred nature of the ordinary. The rush blinds us to the continuous miracle of everyday life. The taste of water, the warmth of the sun, the simple fact that your legs carry you, these are astonishing miracles that are completely obscured by the pursuit of the next goal. When you slow down, you realize that the great spiritual quest is not for some distant, exotic state, but for the full, non-resistant experience of the simplest reality. The problem of speed is the problem of insatiability. The ego, driven by speed, is never content with what it has, because it is already rushing toward what it should have. It suffers from a continuous spiritual indigestion, never fully savoring the meal it is consuming. The final freedom from the speed trap is the understanding that you cannot save life for later. Life is happening now, as a process, as a flow. If you are not living it now, you are not living it at all. The entire future you are rushing towards will be just as empty, just as fast, and just as unsatisfying, because you will bring the same anxious, divided attention to it. The only way to win the race is to realize that the finish line is where you are standing. The only way to save time is to spend it fully, completely, and without reservation on the magnificent, ordinary reality of the present moment. The man paralyzed by choice is inextricably linked to the man paralyzed by speed. His fear of making the wrong decision is merely the other side of his fear of wasting time. The two great anxieties, the anxiety of space, choice, and the anxiety of time, speed, are the two pillars of modern neurosis. We fear time wasted because we believe time is running out. We fear the wrong choice because we believe it will irreversibly waste the time we have left. The core illusion, therefore, is the belief that time is a linear path with a single, correct trajectory, like a bullet aimed at a target. If the choice is flawed, the trajectory is ruined, and the time spent is lost forever. But time is not a line. Time is the rhythm of the universe, a continuous, unfolding process where the past and the future are merely mental dimensions superimposed upon the vibrant reality of the now. When the ego insists on the perfect choice, it is attempting to freeze the flow, demanding a fixed, certain answer from a fluid, uncertain reality. This freeze leads directly to the speed trap. Because the moment you delay, the moment you paralyze yourself with calculation, the world appears to accelerate around you. The tasks you put off multiply, the opportunities seem to vanish, and the consequence of your inaction becomes the frantic necessity of rushing later. The multitasker and the indecisive person are the same soul, suffering from the same psychological split. The multitasker attempts to conquer the anxiety of not having enough time by dividing his attention, He tries to be in two places at once. The indecisive person attempts to conquer the anxiety of making a mistake by delaying. He tries to exist in two times at once, the present and the calculated future. Both strategies are forms of psychological escape from the wholeness of the moment. The liberation is the simple recognition that you cannot waste time. You can only waste attention. When you are fully present in the action demanded by the now, whether that action is walking, eating, or making an imperfect, spontaneous choice, no time is wasted. The action becomes complete in itself, possessing an inherent validity that requires no external justification from future success. The speed trap and the choice trap are defeated by the same surrender, the surrender of the ego's neurotic demand for control and certainty. The wisdom is this: when the universe demands movement, move without calculation. When the universe demands stillness, be utterly still without anxiety. The path to freedom is not found in accelerating your pace or perfecting your plan, but in simply matching the effortless, spontaneous rhythm of the life that is already flowing through you. The choice, the speed, the destination, all are irrelevant. What is relevant is the quality of your attention here, now.